Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight, we're going to be doing my 80-second chill and chat live on a Sunday evening. We're going to be talking home arcade, but tonight is a very special episode. It's going to be our Christmas show where we're going to give some stuff away, so I'm really looking forward to that. But let's say hi to everyone who's made it in the chat so far. Looks like Papa Brad is the first one on here saying hello, gamers. Good to see you. We've got Gotham Basketball and Sports saying, hey, PDubs, Biggie D, happy holidays, brothers. And Ted is saying, woohoo, good to see ya. We got Brooklyn Menace in the chat. Retro Lizards Custom Arcades. Good to see you, Retro Lizard. It was good having you on the show just a couple weeks ago. A lot of fun hanging out with you on the show. Pete G is here saying, ho, 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 good to see ya. And Calvin Wong says, where's Satan? I mean Santa. And we've got G-Force guy in the chat as well saying Brooklyn Menace is the #1 VR channel. Absolutely he is. He's killing it with the VR content. Love hanging with him, playing the Meta Quest. Unfortunately, I don't have the PSVR 2 yet. Hopefully I'll get one of those soon and can do that as well. We've got Sonny Richards, MSU Rich saying Merry Christmas all. Merry Christmas, everyone. And we've got Mickey Yoon in the chat saying, ho, 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 what's up, Biggie D? Good to see ya. So let's bring in our special guests. We got two very big guests coming in tonight to celebrate Christmas with us, help us with this giveaway. Also, just, good discussion tonight. We got some great topics for you guys. Brent Metz is saying Merry Christmas. Mike Hawkhurst saying Merry Christmas, everyone. And Port of Dream, good evening. All right, so let's get started. Let's say hi first. We'll bring in James Hates Everything. How's it going tonight, James?
I am doing excellent. How are you?
Doing very good. I missed you last night. You didn't stream like you
Yeah,
normally do.
I figured I was coming on tonight. I'll just take the night off, right?
Nice. Yeah, we got some good things to discuss, so we can catch up on some things we missed last night.
Excellent.
And we've also got PDubs Arcade Loft joining us as well. Good to see you, PDubs. How's your evening going?
Good, man. Happy holidays. Thanks for inviting me on. Greatly appreciate it. Look forward to having a fun stream with everybody here tonight. What's up, chat?
Absolutely. I like the hat too, that Flash hat.
Well, here's the problem is when I was a little late to logging in for tonight. And Biggie D's messaging me. He's like, I'm waiting. I was walking around. I was trying to find my Santa hat. Everyone knows my Santa hat. I've worn it in the past. It's like the only Santa hat on earth that's a red hat with a black ball and the black instead of the white, right?
Yeah,
My black
I'm
and red
used to
Santa
seeing
hat.
that on Christmas.
Right. And I've been looking all over for it. I was wearing it the other night and I can't find where I put it. So I was like, man, I can't wear my Santa hat. So then I put on the Flash hat because it's red, So this is me trying to support your Christmas stream, even though
That
I'm not
works. There
fully
was
in
also
costume.
news yesterday that they're going to make a new Flash movie. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but they need to wait a bit because we've already been through like 2 or 3 Flashes in the last couple of years. They need to take like 4 or 5 years off from Flash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're gearing up for it, but it may be 2 or 3 years before it comes out. Just James Gunn, he's taken over the reins at DC, and he's got big plans for that. And I've heard yesterday that the Flash, they're already working on it.
And speaking of which, big shout out to the guys in my Discord. James Gunn, who's now running the DC universe. Technically, the first part of the DC universe is available for you to watch, and that's Creature Commandos on HBO Max streaming. And guys in my Discord were telling me that they thought it was great. I watched the first episode today when my wife and I were wrapping presents, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is really, really good." So I'm going to binge watch and catch up to everybody else. But Creature Commandos was really good, at least the first episode.
Yeah, they say it's an adult cartoon, so it's got adult themed stuff in it.
Yeah, the ladies look like ladies. There's swearing, cursing. There's innuendos. It's definitely not a kids DC cartoon, but I really, really like it. Anyone else in the chat see Creature Commandos yet? Let us know in the chat. If you haven't seen it, at least give the first couple episodes a watch and let us know what you think. I liked it.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I'm definitely going to start picking that show up and getting caught up. I love all the DC, stuff that is on Max, so I'll probably end up watching that here soon. Just
Yeah,
haven't
I'm
been
a-
watching a ton of TV. I've been playing my VR headset so much lately. I haven't had any time to really watch TV anymore.
I must have been living under a rock. I'd never even heard of that show. So
Oh, really?
It's
It
good.
just started.
It just started, and the first episode was good. I got to see how the rest go, but I really enjoyed it. So,
Well, I got some
yeah.
topics here for tonight, and I kind of introduced you guys to the topics before we started stream tonight, so you guys
Okay.
kind of got an idea of what we're going to talk about. But I wanted to start with CES because I know, James, you're going to be at CES here in just about a week and a half. PDubs, I heard you on stream Friday night say you may go. What's up with
Well,
that? Are you going to make it?
well, all the guys are trying to get me to go because originally I think only a couple of them were going, and now everyone else is trying to jump on board and go last minute. So, all the buddies, Console Kids B, Fox, Michael B, have all asked me to try and go. I mean, Vegas is only a 4.5 hour drive away from me. And then also, it's only a 45-minute flight, and the flights are pretty cheap. So if I wanted to go, I probably could, but I don't think I'm going to go because we have a Disneyland vacation planned right around that same week. So, for my son's birthday. So it's kind of funny. Kid's turning 24, but he wants to go to Star Wars and get a lightsaber, Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
He wants to do the whole Star Wars thing. So
Are you going to California or Florida?
Disneyland, so it would be
Okay.
California. Yeah.
I've been to the
So,
one at Disney World. It's a
yeah.
once in a lifetime opportunity to see that. It's amazing what they've done. I really enjoyed the one where you're in. What is that ship called? The one
Millennium
that
Falcon.
Harrison Ford.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that one. I rode that one. There's another ride there though. I never got a chance to ride. It had not opened yet. It's kind of like a VR kind of ride.
hmm
And never got a chance to ride that. But just walking
Yeah.
around the park is amazing. I mean, just like
Yeah.
the setup they have there, all the, they have actors that walk around and they're doing little shows and stuff. It's a lot of fun. And they got gift shops that have some really cool stuff in them. Special food that's like Star Wars, like food and stuff. Quite the experience for sure. You guys are going to have a great time. Now, I'm showing off here CES 2020. This is a video from Retro Ralph. We're actually going to see P-Dubs here in just a second. Do you remember this?
No.
Okay, this was 2020 CES, back when they were doing like the Gen 1, Gen 2 cabs. And this was a huge booth that Arcade One Up had. Let me get back to that here. Maybe you can remember, because you're in this video at one point. There you are.
Where am I? I don't even
Right
see
there.
you. Where?
You see it?
No.
It's the back of your head.
Oh,
But-
well, how am I going to remember that if some random person catches the back of my head? I don't even see me.
You'll see it here in just a second. But this was 2020. They were showing off the countercades. They were showing off the Gen 1, Gen 2 cabinets. There you are.
Oh
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
me. That
hat.
yeah, that is me wandering around like a goon. Yeah, yeah. Back in the day before all the community dramas started.
Yeah. This was way back when, like when I first got into Arcade One Up. I got my first one in 2019. This was 2020. Do you remember being there that year?
It was so long ago. I don't remember everything that happened at the show, but I remember some stuff. And yeah, JJ, I remember the booth babes. Of course, I'm going to remember that they had booth babes walking around.
Yeah,
I
it
mean
was
they
a
weren't
huge thing that
they
they
weren't
did.
they weren't dressed skimpy, but they were all wearing like tight blue jeans and Arcade One Up T-shirts that were a size too small. And they were, all very pretty girls who obviously didn't work there and knew nothing about arcades, but just waving all the nerds, come on over and check our stuff out. And of course, we're all like walking there with our tongues out. You know what I mean? So yeah, I remember that.
Look at
They
the
all
size
rocking
of that
track
arcade.
suits.
What was that,
Yeah,
James?
I said, are they all rocking track suits? All those Arcade One Up employees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got the Arcade One Up track jackets. And look at the size of that arcade. That guy's walking into it. It's got like a full door on it. And they just used to do it big. They had these massive setups, these massive booths. It's funny to look back and see how much has changed over the years. Now, this was 2023. This was in the hotel room. I guess you guys remember this just a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I didn't go to this one, but I remember seeing the footage.
And they showed off the Casino-cade, the Class of 81, and the Pac-Man Deluxe at this. They also had the Infinity Game Board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they had missed Pac-Man Deluxe, which never came out. The blue
Yeah,
one.
that was announced, but it never was shown off at the CES at the hotel room.
Yeah.
This was when I first started my YouTube channel, was right around this time. But yeah, so they went from the really big booths, having tons of stuff, to the hotel rooms. And then last year they weren't even at CES. Do you guys think that they're going to be there this year?
No, they've already kind of said that.
Okay. So
They're not on the exhibitor list, so they're not going.
Okay, so it's confirmed they're not going to be there. No one should
Yeah.
expect any news or anything exciting from Arcade 1-Up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, My Arcade, they seem to be doing well at CES. The last couple of years they've been there. I know last year they were showing off some of these really cool countercades, the Atari countercades, and the Atari handheld Game Station Pro, all that. Do you guys remember that from last year?
Is this the one where they actually show kind of like the bar top larger? Or
Yeah, they
that
had the
one.
Mega.
Yeah,
which
where
I don't
where
think that ever came out.
Yeah, that is the only thing that I find interesting for My Arcade, because I just don't like their little toy arcade machines. I just don't. I never have. This actually looked kind of interesting, the larger one, and this never came out, right, James?
Yeah, only the micro is that I've seen. I couldn't find the
Yeah.
release of this one or the one that's just
Yeah.
a little bit smaller.
That's the big one there, where it's got almost full-size spinner. It's got like almost a full-size joystick.
Yeah, they
This
even
is the
had
one I'm most interested in, the Game Station
update.
Portable.
Yeah, they had an update to their the console one too that's never come out. It was in that same like Atari 50th styling.
Yeah.
You know, I thought all those would drop for Christmas, but they did not.
Yeah, last year at CES, they didn't even have these on. They were like behind the glass. You couldn't even hold them. You couldn't take them out. Hopefully this year, at least they'll have them more along, farther along, where we can at least see what they play like. So people can hold them, take them out of the glass case. That would be nice. But it definitely seems like they're taking their sweet time putting these out. What do you guys expect from My Arcade this year?
Well, there's rumors they're working on something bigger, is what I've heard. So I've heard it potentially is a bar top type thing.
Yeah, maybe that bar top that they showed off last year, maybe we'll see the next iteration of it that's actually going to be released. That thing. So, or the other one, the bigger one.
That one.
Yeah, they have two sizes. They have like a smaller one, and then they have the Mega, which is the bigger one. And the Mega is like the size of the Arcade 1-Up countercade. It could be, compared to like the Evercade Alpha.
Yeah, that's the one that I would like them to release, or at least make it a little better looking and release it. That actually might get me some excitement for My Arcade, but all their little toy My Arcades, I have no interest in.
Yeah.
So.
What I've heard is that it's bigger than that one even. So it's like a true bar top size is what I've heard the rumors can be.
So like a 17-inch screen, or?
I don't know.
I haven't heard the dimensions or anything. I've just heard rumors that it is bigger than that and more like a bar top light, like if I could talk.
Yeah, so Console Kits, he's saying he can't wait to hang out with you, James, at CES. We need at least 3 meals together.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be
hard
staying
to
at?
find at Pinball Expo.
Is one of them going to be Brown's Chicken? Is it Brown's Chicken? What chicken did we have in Chicago? When we all went to that pinball bar, there was a chicken place. What was that chicken place? Anyone remember in the chat? I can't remember if it was Brown's or if it was it Popeyes? No, I think it was Popeyes. We all had Popeyes or something. I don't know.
I remember going with BCom.
You got me thinking about food now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we went with B over to that Korean chicken, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was like hot wings, and they were really spicy.
Did B eat a pho? Did he get like a bowl?
No, it was all fried chicken.
Yeah.
And he paid for everybody too.
I remember when we were going to go to that pinball bar, but we wanted to eat something real quick. So all the guys went to, it was either Popeyes or Brown's, and we all grabbed just some quick chicken sandwiches. and B went and got a big bowl of I think it's called pho.
Yeah.
And like, of course, we smashed our sandwiches in like 2 minutes, right? And B's just sitting there
eating his soup.
eating his soup, taking his time, and we were all like, "Okay, dude, come on, let's go." So yeah.
Yeah. So where are you going to be staying at, James?
I grabbed a room at the Excalibur because it was like the cheapest that was left that was close to one of the locations.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I looked at all these events and some of the vendors I'm setting up with, it's all over the damn place. I'm like, I guess it really didn't matter where I stayed at that point. So
Yeah, you're going to have
wish
a
I'd have
great
known
time.
that before I started getting spammed by everybody on the planet for it.
Yeah, I went to Vegas just a couple weeks ago because my new job, they're based out of there. So I'm going to be going all the time. Like I'm going to be there at the
Yeah.
end of January. And I think it's a great place to travel because there's just so many like restaurants and like it's just really set up for you as like a tourist.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
adult Disney World.
yeah. And the food's good. It's not that expensive. And like, I don't gamble. Like I avoid the casinos as much as I can when I'm there. But like, I'll go to Pinball Hall of Fame. I'll go to the arcades around town, but I'd love to go to CES. I just can't go. It's, I'm not going to be able to take off work to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I normally stay when I'm in Vegas at the MGM. I've just always stayed there because I love it for some reason. But this time I did not. They were hit by big ransomware, 6 months or stuff ago. So I just decided I wasn't staying there for the first time.
So what are you looking forward to most at CES? Like, what do you want to get accomplished while you're there? What's on your agenda?
So probably I think the most interesting thing, other than obviously, I'll say that like I want to see what Media One Up is doing. Right, they're going to have a setup at a hotel, and kind of showing what they're doing. Unico's going to be there, but honestly, I think the Stern might be pretty interesting, being that they're going to debut something and they're setting up, meet and greets and interviews and all that stuff. So I think that'll be a cool opportunity to go do the interview, get shots of what the new table will be, whether that's King Kong or Dungeons and Dragons or something else.
If they
I
do
think that'll be
show
a lot
off
of fun.
Dungeons and Dragons, I will regret not going
Yeah.
because I am super excited that they're making a new Dungeons and Dragons pinball. So that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I saw that Nap Arcade is pretty sure that that's what it's going to be, since it's not going to be that System 3 or whatever it's called. And they said System 3 would come out early 2025. So who knows?
Yeah.
Now, John D's going to be there. You told me, and Media One Up, and they're possibly working with Unico. Can you kind of give us some information on that?
Yeah, so I can kind of give you what I know, which is what's been shared, right? Is that John is his Media One Up company does consulting, and one of the companies they are consulting with is Unico. And of course, Jay Mason made a bunch of announcements on Fox about some of the potential things they're working on, like potentially a large Big Red, maybe some other large cabinets as well, which should be interesting. They're working on some sort of, I think they called it global match, some kind of, set top box or arcade board that can plug into the Nova Blast and other things to do online fighting games and other games. I don't know if John's in on that or not, but should be interesting to see what they're working on and what else John's working on with other companies, right? So
do you think that box that they're coming out with, the fighting box, I've heard you talk about it too, PDubs. You're not too high on it, are you?
Well, I was under the impression when they first talked about it, when Jay Mason was on Fox's stream last week, he made it, the vibe I got was that this box was going to be like a mini PC gaming box, and that it was going to be what he called Fightcade on steroids, and you'd be able to play other people who own the box online. So it felt like it was closed, right? Which means if, let's say, they only sell 50, 100, 200, you might be sitting around with empty lobbies, right? But then Jay Mason hopped on Michael B's stream that he did on just this Friday. I had left the stream and Jay Mason came on later, and he mentioned something. Guys in the live chat who caught that stream might be able to say what it is. The guys were telling me afterwards, he said something about it'll actually work with people who don't actually own the gaming box, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it might work something kind of like Antstream. So as long as they have the service,
Mm-hmm.
just on their regular PC, which would increase the number of users, right? But how many people are going to sign up for it, right? That's the question. So um, I honestly don't think it's a great idea, but what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people are like in this home arcade community, if it's 1,500, 2,000,
Yeah.
whatever. But if we all get on board and we're all
Mhm.
playing it, I think that would be fun enough, and then if other people join us, then
Yeah.
that would be great too.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I mean, you could build a community around it.
Hmm.
That's what Arcade One Up tried to do with their online gaming. Excuse me, but how many people still play their Arcade One Ups online, though? That's the question.
Yeah, I heard B Kong
87.
talking about this on Friday. The Marvel versus Capcom, people are still playing it. Street Fighter 2, people are still playing that one. Killer Instinct, people are still playing it. So I think there's certain games, but a lot of the games have, people aren't playing anymore. There's hardly anyone or ever a lobby open for some of these games. I know like PD7, he's pushing some of them. He's doing like on Saturday nights, like X-Men Online, things like that. But I think having like a centralized box or like a application on your computer that you could download would open it up to more people. You wouldn't necessarily have to buy a cabinet in order to play online. So I would like to see it take off and do well. A little bit excited about it too because I could plug it into my AtGames Legends Ultimate hopefully, and have it work over OTG. Do you think it'll work with that setup?
I hope so. If
I
it's a
don't know why
game,
it wouldn't.
if it's a gaming PC, as long as you can map your controls, you'll be able to do it, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
or even if you have another PC just running, let's just say it's an app or software, provided you can map your controls, it'll work. I can't remember if the AtGames control panel uses X input or D input. I think it uses X input. So, yeah, as long as you can map X input, you'll be fine.
And that would kind of be up to Unico to make sure that they program it right to where it would be compatible. Like they would have to make that happen.
I mean, based upon the hardware and the stuff they've put into the Nova Blast, for you the ability to bring so many different kinds of systems and play so many different games, so many different ways with multiple devices, I see that totally happening. That
Hmm.
Yeah.
you'd be able to do that. Yeah.
And there's
Yeah,
go ahead, James.
I was gonna say as a throw in, if that device, because I think he was talking, sub $100, right? If that board's a throw in to move more Nova Blast units, right? Just includes it so you have something to play out of the gate. I think it's smart. Unico also is does a lot of shows like retro game shows and stuff all over. Um, so I've been saying Arcade One Up misses the boat by not kind of copying the Tetris World Championships and Mr. Do's World Championships and things like that, and go around to all these retro conventions and bring a handful of Street Fighter cabs and just
Hmm.
have tournaments there and crown a Street Fighter 2 Arcade One Up champion. So it's something Unico could easily pull off with a smaller, cheaper device that they can lug
Yeah.
around the country.
That'd be awesome.
That would build a community around it because you would get diehards really interested in competing in that just because you're doing qualifiers all over.
Hmm. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun to participate in that. Bring everyone together too, and just have a community event. Now, there's a lot of speculation. I don't know if this is fact or not. That John D's working on like a near full size cabinet that's going to be Street Fighter and Street Fighter Alpha, maybe in collaboration with Unico. What do you think of that, James? Have you heard any of this?
Say that again. Sorry, I was reading.
A near full size cabinet, like a deluxe style cabinet, with Street Fighter Alpha, in collaboration with Unico.
Yeah, so we've heard all the rumors, right? There's lots of rumors, and if you know John, he likes to spread rumors, right?
Hmm.
And so he likes to tell people he's working on this, that, or the other to see what gets out there. So I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to probably guess he's working on something with Capcom because he has a long history with Capcom. That would not surprise me. And he said publicly on streams he doesn't plan on doing 3/4 scale. He knows what the community wants, and he plans on delivering something like that. So I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that it's going to be something along that lines. It could be something completely different, and he stuns everybody because he zigs when everybody thinks he's going to zag. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I think Capcom is a safe bet because it's a known brand. They have huge titles. If you're going to sell to a lot of people, there's probably not a better one to start with. He needs a big hit out of the gate, right? Something that's going to sell a lot of units.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, and if he comes out with let's just say it's like a Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter Alpha XL size cabinet, how excited do you think this community would be over that? Seeing something that we've technically seen more than a dozen times over from a competitor arcade one up, right?
Hmm.
Like this is just my opinion. If John wants to do this and if he wants to release a machine and his will be competitive to arcade one up, same business model, right? Licensed, probably only a couple games on the machine, maybe online play. Like in my opinion, he's got to do a title. His first title should be something that we haven't seen before because
yeah.
guys, how excited in the chat would you guys be to buy Street Fighter for the fifth, sixth time? I mean, I know I wouldn't. It'd be nice to see a competitor in that space, but you
Yeah,
don't
like
want to
for
see.
instance, me, I've never bought a
Yeah,
Street Fighter cabinet, so like maybe this is the one.
right.
But for others, many people have bought them
Yeah.
many times over. 3 or 4 over the years. So, are they going to be interested in getting another one? That's a good point. I hope it's Street Fighter 3. If it's like Third Strike, I think it'll sell really well. If it's Alpha, I think it will sell really well. We got it
Yeah.
in the Evercade Alpha, but in a near full size cabinet, I think would be even more popular. But yeah, if they do like Street Fighter 2 again, I just don't think people are going to be excited about that.
Yeah, I think yeah, if it's a staple like we've seen 100 times, specifically like Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, I think people will be let down. I think some people still buy it because it's XL, but I think it has to be a new title. I think.
Yeah.
But how would it change your opinion if he did something like he talked about years ago on She Lion's stream about wanting to do an online storefront at the same time so you could add other titles? I think that would be an interesting take. I mean, it becomes more of a multicade at that point,
Mhm.
but um, I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, and with Unico being in partnership with them to make this, do you think that 26-inch monitor could fit in one of these style cabinets?
Well, how do we know they're in partnership together?
That's just the rumor. That's I don't think there's any fact behind this, or there's no confirmation of this. That we're just all speculating here.
Yeah, yeah, we gotta be careful we don't, put out like a false narrative out there, Biggie D. There's nothing that says that. The only thing we know for certain that has been confirmed is that John D, as part of the consulting umbrella of his Media One Up business, he's doing consulting services for a lot of companies, not
Right.
just Unico. He's helping Evercade get licenses. He's helping other companies get licenses. That's just one thing, right? John D
Hmm.
has made it known he wants to do his own dedicated arcade machine. And a lot of people have already confirmed that, yes, John D, I saw Retro Lizard put in the chat, John D's not listed as an exhibitor where Media Went Up for CES. However,
Hmm.
John D is doing what some companies do where they piggyback CES.
Yeah.
They're not an actual exhibitor, they're not on site. John D is going to be off site. From what we've heard, he's going to have a hotel suite with something there to show people his arcade machine, whatever it may be. And who knows, that could be his solo venture. Maybe he uses Unico for some parts or something, right? But we don't know, right?
Is
Like I know
Unico going to
this
have a
is all
booth?
that I'm hearing. Unico is an exhibitor there. They have a booth. And hopefully they'll
Okay.
show up this time. Do you guys remember? I think it was CES a year or two ago. Unico was listed as an exhibitor and they had their booth and their booth was empty. There was just like a chair, an empty
Hmm.
chair in their booth. You guys remember that? Like
So
a picnic, like a picnic table chair. It's like they didn't even go. It was
They've been
hilarious.
a sponsor of the KC Retro, which is Kansas City's
Yeah.
big retro show, 2
Yeah.
years in a row, and they haven't shown up either time.
So they actually have an actual product to show this year that's worthy of CES with the Nova Blast. So do you think that'll be their main attraction, like showing off the Nova Blast? Have a line of those like people can play them.
I think Jay said the booth is pretty small this time, and they've just been lugging those things around to IAPA and stuff. So I don't know if they'll actually bring a Nova Blast. It sounded like he's probably going to bring some monitors and some of their smaller stuff. Probably focus on the Pocket is my guess, and then maybe something new or pending. Who knows?
Yeah,
But I know that the IAPA was all about the monitor and stuff.
I'm glad you brought up that Pocket. We talked about that last week on the live stream, and Kev Grat, he had made the comment that it's e-waste. What do you guys think about this? I know you weren't very high on it, PDubs, in your review. Like, you weren't very impressed.
Well, it depends on what you want. Like, if you want a curated collection of SNK games where you're not scrolling through list after list after list, page after page after page on your Ambernick device, right? Of thousands of games, right? And you just want to play these 40 games, you could probably do that, right? But so for instance, but it's like $80, right? So you kind of get more bang for your buck by spending that money on a similar priced Ambernick, right? I just put out a review today for the Neocade MD200, which is a you have the ability to play Sega Genesis cartridges and stuff. That thing right now is on sale on Amazon for only $50, right? So that's why in my review, I'm like, look, it's a 6 out of 10, but it's like $50 on Amazon right now. And if you have some Sega Genesis cartridges you want to play and get that nostalgia of putting a cartridge in and playing it, maybe your Game Gear took a crap along the way, right? Maybe you pick it up. But this the Nova Blast, in my opinion, should have been like $49.99. And if I think it was like $50, as well as artwork, like put like make it red. Like, why is it not red?
Yeah,
You know
I was really disappointed with that.
the button, the gray version actually has the colored buttons, but also put the buttons in the shape, the SNK shape.
The
Put
line.
the button instead of your traditional, 4, buttons up, down, north, south, east, west. Put the buttons in the SNK line. Make it red, and put like the white Neo Geo stripe on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
have their logo on it somewhere.
Like give it a little something to make you pull the nostalgia, right? Like in that case, I think I would have said this is really cool for what it is. I ended up giving that product a predominantly, I think, negative review, the Nova Blast. But that's because of
the Pocket.
The Pocket.
I'm sorry, the Unico Pocket. Yeah.
A Nova Blast for $50. I'm in.
but hey, it is it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the CTO of Unico has been on live streams recently. 19K Fox. He was also on a live stream Friday with you guys, PDubs. Or maybe you'd left before he went on. But he's been saying they're going to possibly make some changes to it and do like a revamped version of it.
I didn't catch that. So
okay. Have you heard that, James?
Yeah, I think he has said a few times that they pitched 5 different versions to SNK, and this is the one they wanted. And so they were kind of hamstrung on that front. And that depending on how things go, he hopes he can go back to them and say, this is what we've learned. Now let's make one that's kind of like this. He's heard lots of ideas from people, and he's taken a positive attitude towards the criticism, which is good. Right. And so, depending on how it does, SNK may or may not be, willing to discuss it further. I personally, for me, I'm not necessarily a big handheld fan to begin with. I have a few, and so I can't see needing to own any more unless somebody really does something crazy. I have an analog Pocket. I have the Anbernic SP, Switch, that kind of stuff. I don't really. Somebody really would have to change the game to get me interested in picking up another one.
Yeah, the license, I think, is what sells it. That you have the licensed product and you want to use that to your advantage. Like PDubs was saying, make it the color, give it the logo, the look of a SNK product, and then it's going to do well. So hopefully they'll make it better. I would like to see a better version of it. Have you been talking about handhelds? Have you been playing your PlayStation Portal? It's called a Portal, right?
I don't.
Yeah, no, I never touch mine.
You haven't played it?
I played it when I first got it a couple times, and now I have 2 of them, and I never touched either one.
Oh, really? I was looking at maybe picking one up because I've been seeing them for a good deal, like $150, and If you could get them for that price, I don't see why not. You know, and
Yeah, now that they're going to make it to where you can actually stream games to it, I might pick it up more, right? Because
Mhm.
really all it was streaming from your console and had very limited use, in my opinion. It's basically for like laying in bed
Mhm.
and I typically don't go to bed at any decent hour in order to lay in bed and play the thing. So it just sits there collecting dust. But if I can stream to it, it might be something that I take on vacations and things like that more often because, you know, I don't really play on my cell phone. It is a bigger screen. It's a better experience than playing like on one of those bones or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the
Uh,
backbone.
but yeah,
Yeah, talking about gaming and like what you're spending most of your time on. Ever since I got this MetaQuest VR headset, that's all I'm playing now because it takes the
awesome.
video game and it
Yeah.
puts it surrounds you in the video game. It's like why would you ever go back to a flat screen after that? It's like
Yeah.
I can't even turn my PlayStation 5 on anymore because I'm like I got this headset and I want to play it.
Yeah.
I know both you guys have one, but you never really talk about it. You guys don't seem to
Well,
play it a ton.
I
Why
have I
not?
had well, I have MetaQuest. Well, I'll try and keep the story short.
Okay.
I got MetaQuest 2 a couple years ago. I played a bunch of VR games, especially those like the Vader games, and I fell in
Hmm.
love with it. And I was like, "Wow, VR is so cool." Blah blah blah. And then like one day I put it down, and then I just didn't pick it back up. Right, like because
Hmm.
I got so many arcades and retro games and handhelds and consoles coming and going. I can't just commit myself to playing one little thing. Plus, despite the fact that we cover retro gaming, a lot of us play modern gaming on the side, right? Like,
Hmm.
I play, Dragon Age and all these new games that come out. I'm like 38 hours into Dragon Age. Think about it, guys. 38 hours. I could have been making YouTube videos, right?
Hmm.
So, like, we're just as busy as everybody else. So I put it down, and then I hadn't picked it back up in over a year. And then MetaQuest 3 comes out, and everyone's talking about it, right? So
Yeah.
I bought it because everyone told me to buy it, the MetaQuest 3. I bought it like 5, 6 months ago. I still haven't opened it.
Oh
It's
no.
still it's still closed in the box. I still have not opened my MetaQuest 3.
Well,
But I
once you
have a
open it, your mind's
but
going to be blown,
yeah,
and
I
you're
know that's what I'm worried about is that if I open it and play it, I'm gonna become addicted to it because I will say this. I will say this. You and especially Brooklyn Menace,
Brooklyn.
hmm
you guys make it look so much fun,
hmm
especially when you're playing with a friend. I think what happened with my MetaQuest 2 was I predominantly played solo games. Like I
hmm
would play Vader, I would play there's a Bubble Bobble game which I really loved, Angry Birds. Like I played a bunch of solo games, right?
hmm
I think if I get on the MetaQuest 3 and play in a group,
yeah.
I think it would really make it more exciting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the mini golf
Um,
is a lot of fun. The
yeah.
bowling. I mean, and when you're doing those things, it's like you're really at a bowling alley with your friends, or you're
Yeah.
really playing miniature golf with all your buddies.
Yeah.
And it's you're standing right in front of each other. It's picking up your movements.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I know you've played some of the mini golf. You even went with Brooklyn and did the
Yeah, the
what was it?
VR, the
Escape
escape
room.
rooms. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I will say I have lots of VR headsets. I have lots. I have 3 now, right? And
Hmm.
I had always steered clear of the MetaQuest because it was, I was kind of bitter when it was Oculus. I liked them, and then Facebook bought them, and I was then, oh, I'm too good for the MetaQuest. I have an
Yeah.
HV Reverb G2 with the 4K. Well, I finally, when they had released the Batman game, right, the Arkham
Hmm.
Asylum Shadows, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
I broke down and bought the MetaQuest 3, not the 3S, the actual 3, because it was on sale. And
Hmm.
my mind is blown. Like it is
Yeah.
amazing, like how good it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm generally on it like once a day at least, but not for very long, and depending on what I'm doing. But yeah, I think it's the online play with other people that is a game changer, and the fact that the technology wise is so good.
Hmm.
Like there's no screen door effect. It looks great. I love the AR aspects of it, where you can see your room and your computer and everything you're doing at the same time. It's pretty much a huge leap compared to that, PC VR or PlayStation VR, that kind of stuff. And so
Hmm.
I'm digging it a ton. I really enjoy it. But uh, need to get off my butt and finish the X Arcade. Like I'm doing a tutorial and stuff for them on that, the X Arcade VR. Forget what
Mm.
it's called, Arcade Dreams or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The
Oh no
I,
way.
it,
I, 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 yeah, I've had their I've had their arcade stick for like
Yeah.
6 weeks, and I haven't put out a video yet.
So
And
the
I'm
VR headset works with the X Arcade
yeah,
joystick and buttons. So
Yeah,
like when
they,
you
they
see it on the headset, you put your hands there, and that's the
yeah,
buttons and the joystick for real. Oh
yeah,
man,
exactly.
that's so cool.
And it's got
yeah,
the pinball flippers on the side, so you can
yeah.
play pinball with it. And all.
Th- They
They're
have
very well done.
That might be worth getting.
they have a VR arcade. You go in and you walk around, and it has all the licensed arcade games you can play, right?
Hmm.
And although you see it through VR,
Hmm.
when you actually go to play, let's just say Pac-Man, right? You're using the joystick that's on the X Arcade, right?
Yeah.
On the control panel, right? Versus using their handle,
Hmm.
their controllers. So it's pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet myself. It gave me a reason to open my MetaQuest 3, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
still haven't got to it.
Yeah, I'll give
I'm
you a
behind.
suggestion on
I'm
some
behind.
games you should play like right when you open it. Red Matter 2 is
Hold on.
like my favorite visually impressive game I've seen yet. If you're a
Hold on.
sci-fi fan, you like, Mars, you like all the planets and
Well-
everything, you travel to them. It's so fun.
Well, I know I want to play the new Starship Troopers. I saw
Oh,
Brooklyn
yeah,
was
that looks
playing that,
awesome.
and that looked really cool. So
And the mini
what
golf
is
is a
that
must
called?
buy. Red Matter 2.
Okay, anyone who's into VR in the live chat, what are the must play MetaQuest 3 games, like newer games that just came out that everyone's playing? You guys mentioned golf and bowling. Which one?
Premium bowling and
Premium
Walkabout
bowling?
mini golf.
And then
Those are the
Walkabout.
community games.
Yeah.
Premium bowling, Walkabout, mini golf.
Hmm. And it's starting to become mainstream. So like the games you're starting to see now are like Batman Arkham, Metro. I just got the Metro game, if you
Yeah.
remember that series on consoles.
The
They-
Assassin's Creed. thing
Assassin's
there.
Creed is another one. Yeah, they've got like more mainstream AAA titles now, and that's starting to happen. And by next year, this time, I think more and more people are going to move over to VR, and that's just how people are going to play their video games, is because it's gotten that much better. I know one thing that prevented me from getting into it early on or sooner than I did was the motion sickness and hearing people get sick when they play. And I'll tell you, when I first started, like the first week I got it, I did get some of that. But you would just work your way through it. You do like short sessions, and over like a couple of weeks, you start to get used to it, and you realize you're not actually moving in that way. You're actually in your room, and you start to get used to that, and you don't get sick anymore. It's really just when you're first starting out. So I wouldn't say let that deter you from getting one, because you'll get through that within a few days.
So here's the ones I wrote down from the chat. We have Starship Troopers, Red Matter 2, Premium Bowling, Walkabout Mini Golf, Iron Rebellion, Action Hero, Behemoth, Nightclub.
Behemoth.
What is Nightclub Simulator? Is that just like walking around a dance club?
Yeah.
But it sounds like.
And I get to be like a night at the Roxbury? You know what I mean? Is that it?
And you get to
Um,
do
You
adult
can go
things.
dance with a bunch
Pistol
of
whip.
people that are catfishing.
All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. What about the Batman game that everyone's
The
talking
Batman
about?
game's great
It's
too.
phenomenal.
I'm
Yeah,
savoring
absolutely
that game. Like I'm like
Okay.
10% through it right now, and I'm like, I don't want to keep playing it because I want to still have a game to play. I don't want to finish it too
How
soon.
hard is it to capture footage and live stream it?
That I haven't started yet.
You can record directly in the unit. So if you want to just capture footage, that's the easiest
Well,
way.
that's what I did on my MetaQuest 2. There was a
Yeah.
way, I remember now on my MetaQuest 2, like a couple of the Vader scenes. I just
Oh, yeah.
made it record the scene, and then I posted it on my Facebook.
Yep. And then you
but,
can also
but how are these guys like streaming it live?
you can stream to your PC with it. So it's got an app
Stream
that'll
to your PC, and
yeah,
then
and
your
then you
PC
share
send-
that off.
Yeah, there's a
okay.
USB-C cable you could buy for it that plugs into your computer, and then
Yeah,
you
you can
stream
do
it
that too.
way.
So
But
you're walking
Behemoth
around
is
with
your
like a
tether.
20-foot cable connected to you?
Yeah, that's the bummer about it. Is your
Oh,
But
computer-
you can
wow.
when you do the stream, you don't need the cable. You can
Oh, you
get the
don't.
cable, but you don't have to have it. The
Oh,
cable's
okay.
more for if you want to hook it up to Steam and stuff.
This sounds kind of cool.
So there's an
Mhm.
actual app that will stream from the headset to your
I'll-
computer.
I'll be honest, all these recommendations sound really good, guys, except for this nightclub simulator. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going to happen in there.
Yeah, and we've got almost 100 people in the chat right now. If anyone wants to check out VR content, go to Brooklyn
Yeah,
Menace.
Brooklyn's the king of the.
He is constantly
content.
streaming this stuff, and you guys will not get a good like idea of what this this is yet till you put the headset on. Once you put the headset on and then you watch Brooklyn stream, you'll get it. You'll instantly understand. But just watching it without experiencing it, it just doesn't do anything for you.
So here's the other fun thing, I think, is that there's a bunch of YouTube channels that actually stream their content like in VR capability. So you can go into YouTube and actually view it in VR. So you can watch several people's YouTube channels as though it's, all around you and in 3D and all that stuff, which is pretty
Oh yeah, like when we're bowling, we were watching you, James. We're watching Papa Brad. Like we're watching YouTube videos, like we would be sitting in front of our computer or on our TV, but we're in VR playing bowling, and it's has that capability.
Cool.
So let's transition, guys, out of VR. Even though I love VR, and that's what I'm spending most of my time on. This is Home Arcade, and you two have AtGames 4KPs. I want to get an AtGames 4KP. This was huge news last week because everything went down. You're kind of the expert right now, James, on a lot of this. I feel like. Can you kind of give us an idea of what happened and where they're at now, and will this ever happen again?
Yeah, so I can tell you what they said, right? They said they did some sort of DNS transfer. They didn't elaborate any more than that. So that can mean a million things. They could have moved their domain. They could have moved name servers. They could have done a bunch of stuff. It's hard to say. They didn't elaborate. Mm-hmm. What I can tell you through my digging into it and all that stuff is that a big section of their domain disappeared. So with domains, you have this thing called a zone file, which is every, mail.atgames.net, www.atgames.net, their whole list of different domain names that tells them what servers to go to. All of that was gone except for their main atgames.net entry, their MX records. Those were still there, but for some reason everything else was gone. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why it would take them 3 days to fix it, because worst case scenario, you're just entering them back in and you become instantly live. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what was going on why it took 3 days to put the stuff back in DNS. It's very questionable in my opinion. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. It may not have been in their control at all. Maybe their DNS vendor was like, no, we're doing it this way. You just have to wait. I don't know.
And it's Amazon Web Services is who they use?
They use that for some hosting. They use this place called spaceship.com for hosting their domain in DNS.
They were using GoDaddy. They were using GoDaddy for years. And they decided to switch to Spaceship. Okay. So, and that caused the whole thing. And when they made the switch, whoever set up the switch on their end didn't set it up correctly.
Yeah.
And basically it caused everything to go down for 48 hours until everything got recovered.
So that's
in a nutshell, without an hour and a half talking about it, that's what happened. Yeah. They switched from GoDaddy to Spaceship. I'm assuming cost-cutting maneuver.
Did they know this was going to happen ahead of time?
So well, they should have known it would happen, and they should have known how to do it correctly, but they didn't. So
okay,
but
so it just went down, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're down."
Shit happens, though. I mean, shit happens. Yeah. It was down for 2 days. It was hilarious. I was giggling the whole time. I thought it was so funny because it was so preventable. But mistakes happen. My company I work for makes mistakes. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. 48
everybody
hours,
does.
It wasn't the end of the world. It just tells you to switch to offline mode. That's what it tells you.
So were you able to play all your tables in offline mode?
Me, no, because I didn't have any in offline mode. So
okay, so they had to be in that setting before it went
the
down.
only game you could play is like the included games, the ones that are actually built into the system, like I have the Addams Family machine, so like Addams Family's built in. But all the other games you download onto the internal storage or a flash drive, you didn't have access to if they were not put in offline mode, right? So so I just left my machine off for 2 days and kept track of it and laughed about it with everybody else. We all had a good giggle over it. But it is what it is. It's over. We move on. We move on.
Console Kits is right here. This is what doesn't make any sense, right? Like there's no cost savings for going to GoDaddy to this other thing. It's kind of a joke. I didn't realize they switched from GoDaddy. I didn't notice that. But if that is what they did, then
Yeah.
it was carelessness because they didn't write
Yes.
down all their DNS entries before moving, which
Mhm.
really begs the question, why did it take so long? Because Spaceship was responding almost immediately. So at any point they could have put those in and been back online. And that usually means nobody knew what they were.
Yeah.
and but they still should be able to figure it out because you just open up your web host and you look at what your IPs are at AWS, things like that, and you plug them in
Mhm.
and you go. But
I did hear Justin say this week on one of his streams, I think it was the one with Bkong on their new live stream they're doing, where they should only be down. Company's standard is like 99.9%
oh yeah,
uptime, or maybe 99.8% uptime. And they've already broken that. They're like 98% now just with those 2 days. So it's definitely unacceptable from like a business standard standpoint, you know. Do you guys think that they're going to do anything to make it up to the customers? Because it doesn't seem like yet they've decided they're going to do that or even offer anything to anybody. I saw some discounts maybe on some tables.
well, if they were smart, they would just send everybody a $5 coupon that could be used towards the Magic Pixel tables,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would make money on it, and it looks like they're doing something for people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's really a gimmick to get you to buy more of their tables that they discount all the time anyway.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that for Zen, but that's like the least of what they could do, right? And people would be like forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest problem isn't that they're down, it's that the offline mode is only accessible when you're online, which makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And because you only need it when you have problems. And there's a big risk to being in offline mode. If your PCB actually does have problems, you can't get the tables back. Like they're just gone. Because from what I've heard, is AtGames can't switch them out of offline mode. You have to do that locally. And
Yeah.
so if that's the case, you lose all your tables. So that's should be unacceptable. I hope they fix that to where if truly they're down or something, that the tables revert to offline temporarily. You
Yeah. I
know,
think I
even if
did
it's like, hey,
see.
for 48 hours, like they can be used, but after a week they can't or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see as far as them making it up to the customers, like a 30% discount, or maybe it was 25%. Don't know the exact number. I do know they're offering a percentage off the new, like, I think it's the natural history. But if you guys remember, they raised the price from 25 to 35.
Yep.
So they're really not giving anyone any savings off of what people were used to until they raised the price. So I don't know how well that's going to go over. I think they should offer something for free, or like you said, a gift card, $5 gift card would be a good option. Just something to make it up to people, because people are spending a lot of money on these 4K pinballs. They're $1,500, $2,000 if you get the SSF. It's a lot of money to spend to have your machine just not working for a long period of time like that, 2-3 days. But talking about AtGames and like new tables they have coming. They've got some pretty good ones. Zen calls this their original tables. It's like they're in-house developed. They made them completely from scratch, which is the Sorcerer's Lair and the Wild West Rampage. I know that there's some early review copies out of this, and there's going to be some videos dropping in the morning tomorrow for reviews on these tables. I predict these are probably going to play pretty well because these are completely made by Zen. So I think they're going to have a lot of ability to make them play even better. What do you guys think about these original Zens? Because do we have any original Zen tables until now?
Yeah, like a lot of like everything you see from like Peanuts and
Jurassic Park and
Jurassic, those
Back to
are
the
all
Future.
originals. The only tables that you would call not original would be the Williams tables, Biggie. Every other
Oh, okay.
table they
I
make,
see what you're saying. Yeah.
every other table they make is original or it's based upon some IP, right?
Right. But
Um,
the license holder may have, like the license owner may have some say in those tables
oh,
too.
I'm sure they do, right? Now, when it comes to like in-house from scratch tables, yeah, these two would be those, so they're not paying license fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And typically, at least I know Sorcerer's Apprentice is usually the one that's given away for free. It's
Mm-hmm.
usually a free table, kind of like the fish game. Fish Tales is usually a free table.
Mm-hmm.
AtGames is charging $5 for these games, which are typically free. You would assume they're charging due to the porting cost, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe also due to I'll say it. I'll stick it out there. Lackluster sales of the pinball. You would assume if the pinball machine was selling tens of thousands of units, Zen and AtGames might be willing to gift these games for free, like Zen does on every other platform these games are on.
Mm-hmm.
But when you only have about 3,000 units out there, you got to charge for this stuff, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
in my personal opinion, I'll wrap it up so James can talk. The Wild West game, I've never enjoyed. I've played it on my PC a bunch. I've never enjoyed it. The Sorcerer's Lair game, I think a lot of people just enjoy it. It's a fun magic themed table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. I'll probably pick up the Sorcerer game, but the Wild West game I'm probably going to skip because I just that game just does not do it for me. What
Yeah.
about you, James?
Yeah, I honestly, I'll probably pick both of them up, and I've never played either one because I'm not a huge fan of playing virtual pinball on like a PC or console or anything like that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
have a
the same.
I have a few, but I like the immersion of the table myself. But so I'll probably pick them both up just because I already have every other Zen table, so I'm not going to stop now. you
Mm-hmm.
know, they're Pokemon now to me. I got to collect them all. But I probably will very rarely play them based on the look of them because I like the recreations much better than I like the original stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, some of
you
the
know,
originals are really good, like
yeah,
their Zeus game or Thor, Zeus or Hercules. I always get the title mixed up. Like that one's really fun to play,
yeah.
right? And they also have that the underwater game I like, stuff like that. So there are some of the original games that are really fun.
Yeah, I don't mean that they're not. I just I prefer like the Williams and recreation stuff more. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
I've been buying
new
every one of them, so I'm not gonna not gonna stop now.
these new reels we're looking at too. You'll see a date of the 23rd, which is tomorrow. These were originally already supposed to be out, but with the outage, they had to delay them a week.
yeah,
So look for these to release tomorrow morning. And
yeah.
also
Yeah,
look for reviews. I think there's quite a bit of reviews already posted that will go live tomorrow. Also,
yeah. I'm
natural
glad
history.
they. Sorry, Biggie. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad they moved forward with that. I was worried they might delay these till the first of the year. I
Mm-hmm.
love that they're ending up getting out all the tables that they've announced for this year in the last week, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what they come out on the 24th, is that right? And then the
23rd.
31st. So
Yeah, so it wasn't delayed long. I was expecting
yeah,
them to delay it into next year sometime. For them to only be, 4 or 5 days behind schedule, that's not too bad.
yeah.
It sounded like they just wanted to get everything back online before they decided to release them. Now that everything's back up,
Hmm.
they were ready to go. I heard you Monday night, PDubs, talk about this new Natural History Pack 3 quite a bit. You seem to have a lot of opinions on natural history, the past ones, as well as what you think of these new ones. What do you think of the Pack 3 that's about to release?
The one I'm most excited for is the one that a lot of people crapped on in my live stream, but that's why, guys, we have opinions. We all have buttholes. Everyone has one, right? So, out of this whole pack, the one I'm most excited to play is the Insect World. I think it looks really cool. Some of the table graphics with the butterflies and stuff, it kind of reminds you of like the Farfalla games, right? That
Hmm.
Zakaria has done. But still, I like what I'm seeing on the table. I like how they've thought enough to put, like, you actually have grass growing through the rails on that back left top corner. You have
Hmm.
grass and reeds, and I love the hornet's nest in the back. Look at the flying butterfly, the honeycombs as the bumpers. And
Yeah.
they were smart enough to know that if, the table is insects and they're flying around, you got a lot of loops on here, right? There's a lot of loops on the table, right?
Hmm.
That's the one I'm most interested in playing, but you never know. I could play it and it could suck, right?
Yeah.
But just from what I've seen, and full disclaimer, guys, I haven't played these games. That's the one I'm most excited for. I'll be honest, the Dinosaur Dynasty game, I have no interest in. The microbes and the insect game look interesting to me.
Hmm.
Nature's Fury 2, I don't know. I'll have to play them. I don't think it looks horrible. I do like the fact that on most of these tables, we're back down to two flippers, maybe three.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that
Like
was a huge
we,
complaint where they had
I
them
mean,
all
they
over the
released
table.
they released about 20 tables that had six or more flippers on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
and the community got burnt out because then at that point, all your games feel the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of feedback from YouTubers as well as just general customers in their Facebooks and on their product reviews on their website saying we want less flippers, and they finally listened. So I have hope that these games will be a little bit more fun to play without all the crazy levels and flippers and just you ever hear the phrase less is more? Like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, less is more sometimes when it comes to these kind of pinball games. So go ahead.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
my big two
I haven't got it.
takeaways.
Oh, go ahead, James.
I was gonna say my big two takeaways is it's too soon for an infectious disease table.
Oh, I know.
And then, like, I think on that insect one, what everybody's calling the honeycombs, to me, they
Uh-huh.
look more like wasp nests. And I think it would be cool if, as you're hitting them with the balls, even if they're honeycombs, if you're hitting them with the balls, like bees and wasps start flying out of them
Well,
when it's
the
bouncing
wasp
around.
nest is in the top right corner. The ball actually travels through it. So
Yeah, but that to me looks more like a beehive than the ones at the bottom. Because like the wasp nests around me all look exactly like
Mm-hmm.
um, those
I don't know. I mean,
bumpers or whatever they are.
I mean, I don't expect them to be amazing, right? Like
No, I think it would be funny though.
there's less
shoot at
pressure.
it.
There's less pressure on AtGames to make amazing natural history tables than there is on AtGames to make a great Sea of Thieves, Battletoads, and Killer Instinct game.
Mm-hmm.
If they screw up that pinball pack, it's not going to be good for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we still haven't really seen good gameplay of Sea of Thieves. So, we'll see. And we haven't seen gameplay of the other two games. There's more pressure to show us that AtGames and Magic Pixel can take a great theme like Battletoads and Killer Instinct and make an amazing pinball experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's more pressure there than these custom
Oh yeah.
natural history games. So, you know,
So getting into Zen and what they have coming for early 2025, because they had posted this on their calendar for December, and it was emphasized in the 4K, the official 4K Facebook group, where they basically said, "Let's talk tables. What do you want to see announced on the 24th, which will be this coming week on Christmas Eve? They're going to announce the first half of 2025." Zen Studios pinball tables, as well as AtGames pinball table schedule. I don't know if that means skins or if that means they're more of the natural history stuff, the Magic Pixel stuff.
I think it's the latter.
Okay.
It's definitely not skins. Yeah, they're talking about on Christmas Eve, their Christmas present to the community is you're going to find out a big bunch of Zen games that'll be released at some point next year, as well as the AtGames original games, which are made by AtGames and Magic Pixel. And those are the games that typically run on both devices, the 4K and the high def devices. So that's what they mean there.
Yeah, and talking about the HD and the 4K, like I was talking to Papa Brad last night. He is an influencer for AtGames. If you guys, I think you know that. Most people know that. But he gets advanced copies of these, and he's already played the natural history. And he had said he's got it set up where he's got the HD and the 4K right next to each other. So we should be able to see in his review video the differences between the two side by side, which I think will be really cool. I'm excited that they're still making HD stuff because I've got the ALU AtGames Legends Ultimate. And if the Pack 3 is really impressive, maybe I'll pick that up, especially if they're doing money off here coming up for, the mistake on them being down. Might take advantage of that and actually pick up one. But talking about like just predictions, speculation on Marvel, and I put this on the thumbnail. Something I'd really like to see, something I'd really want to see announced is going to be Marvel and Star Wars. Are you guys on board with that as well? Is that like something you really want to see them do?
Yeah, because I think those are games that sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would love for them to say that they're getting a bunch of these games. Even if they're not getting all, like, I think each group of games has what, like 10 or 12 games in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a
between
ton
them.
of Marvel tables. There's
Like,
a
I
ton of
don't
Star
remember.
Wars.
Yeah, there's like at least a dozen Star Wars games. There's a dozen Marvel games. Even if they only are getting like 6 or 7, like as many as they can afford to put on there would be great. So people
Mhm.
love these games, right? There's only a few.
Yeah.
Like I saw some gameplay there of Fantastic Four. I hate the Fantastic Four game.
Oh yeah,
I would
Moon Knight is
rather.
my favorite actually.
Oh, I can't stand the Fantastic Four game. It's so freaking boring. But the X-Men game is fantastic. The
Mhm.
X-Men pinball game is so much fun.
I,
So
I think they may have not released X-Men or Marvel starting out because it had like an association with Arcade One Up. But then
mm.
I also think, well, they released the Attack from Mars, so maybe not.
And right here, they're Zen's version of the Mandalorian, which guys, this is a custom version of the Mandalorian. This is not the Stern Mandalorian pinball game. This is Zen's version of Mandalorian, just like Zen made their own version of Godzilla.
Mhm.
In my opinion, this game sucks too. Like I hate this game.
Yeah, I've
But
heard you say that.
there are so many great the Star Wars games, like the Empire Strikes Back game, the what is that? Rebel Assault game is fun. The Vader game. Oh my god, that's probably my favorite Star Wars Zen Studios game. Is just the Vader title, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of great games. So yeah, hopefully, I agree. Announcing Marvel and Star Wars would be a win. But
Mhm.
they also got to announce, hopefully, like announce Indiana Jones or some of the Williams. What are some of the Williams that they haven't announced yet? Arabian
Well, that
Nights,
new one that just came out, Black Knight.
Yeah,
Black Knight 2000.
Mhm.
yeah, all
Um,
3 of the new ones.
yeah, all the new ones would be cool. Because some of them too, you can speculate maybe 9 months down the road, maybe they'll start making theme tables of them, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Or
They
their
have a
horror
large
tables
portion of
that are
them
out.
They
already.
haven't done Medieval Madness yet, right? Like, where's Medieval
No, they
Madness?
haven't.
You know, like there's a lot of good ones that they should announce from Williams as well as their custom. And personally, one of my favorite Zen Studios games is the Family Guy table. And if you got South Park, please get Family Guy in here before you lose the license. You know what I mean?
Well, Family Guy only came out on FX3. I don't think it ever
Yeah.
made it to FX, did it?
Uh, I don't know. I'd have to check.
See, I don't
I'd
think
have to
Family
check.
Guy or Bob's Burgers or any of those made it to FX.
American Dad.
Yeah,
Maybe
those.
maybe Zen didn't license them over that way.
So
So
I
That's
think
great.
those are off the table. But
Oh,
Medieval
that's fine.
Madness, I like that you mentioned that one because that
Yeah.
on my arcade one up, you said this as well, PDubs, when you came over to my apartment, that Medieval Madness was your favorite one on the Attack from Mars arcade one
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, because that game on the attack from I'm sorry, on the arcade one up PCB,
Hmm.
that game looked the best and played the best.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
It
a
had the
lot of the
castle in the background and the
yeah,
dragon and
a lot of the other games that were on that PCB didn't run as nice. Like what was it? Was it Whitewater or something?
Whitewater played
yeah,
horrible.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
and then the Gophers
Yeah.
is almost unplayable. There's some on there that you
Yeah.
even with the update that Arcade One Up officially released for it, they're
Yeah.
still unplayable. Like
Oh, yeah.
the Fishtails it doesn't play very well either.
Oh, and they got to keep bringing over all the Pinball M tables. Keep bringing them over because
Oh yeah,
I love the Pinball M games. I really hope in next year Zen really pushes the Pinball M platform. Like it's been a slow trickle, right, James,
hmm
of
oh
Pinball
yeah,
M games. But I love those games so much. I just want more and more of those. I don't need
yeah.
any more trolls, any more Kung Fu Panda. Just give me the blood and guts, baby.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I'd
they're
love to see
saving the
him do a
best.
Freddy. Yeah.
I hope they save the best for 2025, and it's
Yeah.
looking like that. I mean, they're really trying to set up for like a big announcement from this. Leah Moore, who posted this, I think she works for AtGames, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's our marketing person, right?
Yeah. She made a mistake though last week. I think one of her posts on the Facebook group was auto scheduled, and it was to the day that the Sorcerer's
Outage.
Lair and the Wild West Rampage were supposed to release, and she posted like, "Go get your table. Are you guys enjoying the new tables?" And then it got deleted a few hours later. So I think it was auto generated or scheduled to post that
I
day, and
thought
she
you were going
forgot
to
to
tell me
delete
there was
it.
a bunch of spelling errors and stuff because that's a common refrain.
Yeah, I called her out on it.
Yes.
So I'm curious, do you think, like, I don't know, obviously not being a licensing person, does the fact that AtGames doesn't really have a relationship with Disney anymore play a role in the fact, in the likelihood that we would get the Zen Star Wars or Marvel tables or indie?
Well, are the Disney games on the new AtGames Legends Ultimate that
I,
just came out?
I think those
No,
are the
no,
ones
they're
that were
not.
all taken off.
Yeah, but they're licensed through Zen's license. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I don't know. Right.
So you know, there you go.
Yeah, so that new CE HD that came out at Sam's, they removed all the Disney games. I
Yeah.
think I know on
Yeah.
the artwork they have. I don't know about the
But
actual
they're going
games
through
list.
Zen. They're going through Zen and Zen's relationship. So I
Yeah,
think that means if Zen wants to port them over, they will. It all depends on money. You know.
yeah, they
Yeah.
shouldn't be
It,
connected. Like it should
it
be
may mean
separate.
they can't get a skin for it though, right? I think that would be
I
more
would assume
likely a
not, because I
hurdle.
think I think that would be a different kind of
Yeah.
license, right? The artwork license. Like for instance, we got
Hmm.
Back to the Future on the AtGames platform, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
But if they wanted to make a Back to the Future themed pinball machine, they have that costs more money, more
Hmm.
licenses. Do you just put the car and the logo on there and save money, or do you spend six figures and try to get the actual actors' likenesses on the
Yeah.
side panel?
Yeah,
The logos that include, let's just say, Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, you got to pay those guys, right? But if you're going to just make the artwork and it's just the car and the logo, then I think a lot of people would be happy with it and it would be cheaper, right?
hmm,
So, and probably doable. So it all depends on how much money they want to spend. How much money are they going to make? And keep in mind, guys, if they're not selling pinball
Yeah.
machines, a lot of that big stuff ain't going to happen. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And that's a question: is
So
where are they at right now financially? Are they at their goal for the
they're
end of
not.
the year?
There's no way.
You
There's no
know,
way.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way they're at any kind of successful goal. I
hmm,
think for them, a successful year would have been it's year one of the Legends Pinball 4K, and we sold 10,000 pinball machines.
hmm,
And like, do the math. Let's just say a pinball pack comes out at $35, and everyone, let's just say 9,000 people buy it. That's a good chunk of change, James. What's the math on
Oh
that?
yeah.
What's 9,000 times 35?
Well, obviously 10,000 would be 350,000, right? So just
Right.
back
So
off
think
35,000 so you're at
and they're making that
315.
and they're making that per game release, right?
Yep.
But if you only have less than 3,000 owners and all 3,000 people buy it, did you really make a lot of money to pay back the license fees and the development cost of these games, right?
hmm.
So that's the question, right? Like they need to sell a whole lot more pinball machines uh, to cover the cost of just, I'm assuming, a lot of these Zen partnerships and deals. I mean,
Yeah,
Zen is giving them the world, but Zen is going to want the money
Yeah.
as
And
well as the license,
Zen's getting all that money on those tables,
as well as the
right?
licensees that Zen has to pay, right?
hmm.
So they need to sell way more pinball machines in 2025, or they are going to be in trouble.
Well, it's going to be an exciting week. In less than 48 hours, we'll know what Zen tables are coming out next year for the first half of the year. So I expect a lot of videos, a lot of content this upcoming week on all this. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, it's the week of Christmas,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm hoping people take some time off, spend some
Yeah.
time with their families.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. People
Um,
deserve it.
But, I'm expecting hopefully people got videos ready. Whoa, I accidentally did the Zoom thing. Hopefully people, hopefully there'll be I'm assuming there'll be content, right? Like, but,
I'm
you
wondering
know,
if the influencers have, prior knowledge of what's about to be announced and they're getting a head start on that stuff.
I'm sure they have some
well,
idea.
back when I was in that group, yeah, sometimes they, a few years ago when they ran that group well, influencers would get stuff like 2 to 3 weeks in advance.
Hmm.
Plenty of time for you to digest it, make content on it if you want it. And keep in mind too, it wasn't mandatory. It was like,
Hmm.
hey guys, you're in the group. Here's the info. It's under embargo. If you'd like to make a video, make a video. That was it. But then the last couple of years, no, actually, no, the last year, over this last year, as well as the last few months I was there, they had a lot of leaks happening, right? And so then they kind of switched it to now we're going to tell people the day before. And then it changed again to like the day of. And it's like, if you're in this group and the only reason you're in the media group is because you want to be able to get information ahead of time to prepare content in advance,
Hmm.
you can't give that content to people with less than 10 hours to go before it's public. Then they switched it to you got the information the same time it's public. And if
Mhm.
that's the case, why does this group even matter, right?
Yeah.
And that was what I told AtGames when I left their group. And a lot of people made up a bunch of bullshit stories out there, but I told them, I was like, you're supposed to have this group to provide advanced information, and the information's not coming in advance, so I'm not going to be in the group.
I wonder if they're worried that it's going to get leaked, and that's their
I'm
purpose of doing
sure
that.
to some extent, but that's when you kick those people out of the group, right?
Mhm. Because I've heard like if some of this information gets leaked, it can ruin their partnership with these licenses and these.
Oh yeah, it has an impact. I mean, think about what happened with Arcade One Up in their SNK cabinet all those years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were ready to announce the King of Fighters Arcade One Up. It got leaked, and that was a legitimate leak. That wasn't one of their planned leaks. Because keep in mind,
Mhm.
Arcade One Up has done a lot of planned leaks. But when that thing got leaked and SNK found out, the cabinet got scrapped. They were pissed,
Yeah.
and that hurt Arcade One Up, right? And their relationship with SNK. So,
And I noticed AtGames, they do a lot of things differently than Arcade
yeah.
One Up. Like PK, he's not a public figure like John D was. You never see him on interviews or live streams. They're really silent on a lot of things, and they keep a lot of stuff to themselves.
What I
think, to
can tell
protect
you
it.
is this is PK. I remember back when I used to talk to that company. PK had mentioned to me one time that one reason he doesn't put his employees on camera,
Mm-hmm.
let alone even just hearing their voices, is sorry, my dog stepped on my cord.
Yeah, I saw him walking around behind you.
Yeah, he stepped on my cable. You startled me, buddy. I didn't know you were there. It is because he's worried that they're going to get attacked by the community because that's what happened to all the Arcade One Up employees.
That's a fair fear, right?
And
Yeah.
You leave some
that's
things
fair.
out there too long,
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
chew on
Yeah.
it. and
Yeah,
becomes charm.
that's why he had me and Tech Buzz host Legend Center, so everyone would yell at us and not the employees.
Yeah, sometimes the community can be unforgiving and
Yeah.
attack people for certain things, and you hate to see that, and it deters, I think, like him to even come on YouTube because
Some jerks go out there and do streams about their press releases, about their resumes and stuff too. So
Yeah, and people nitpick everything on YouTube, so they just say, "I'll stay off."
Yeah.
But now, one public figure and a company in home arcade who's not afraid to get on YouTube is Shiloh at New Wave Toys. Did you guys get a chance to watch his stream?
Yeah, and keep in mind, I like New Wave Toys. I like what they do. I like Shiloh. He is freaking hilarious. I mean, I've literally smoked weed with the guy while we were partying in Chicago. Shiloh's a great dude, but let me tell you this. The solo stream that they tried doing was horrible. It was unwatchable. They had so many issues. It was a mess. I like the fact that they're trying to do these community shows. Their first one went off really well. This was only episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of stuff our YouTube community really likes who follow this space is we like when, let's be honest, you guys liked Legend Center. You like what Shiloh's doing. Whether you guys liked it or not, John Arcade was on every week.
It was a lot of fun.
John D has made it known behind the scenes that he wants to do what you call the Media One Up Weekly. He would like to do live shows as well with his audience when his product launches.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's cool that they're doing that stuff, but it came off so bad. It was so hard to hear and understand what they were saying.
The audio was bad.
So it was hard. I'll be honest. I didn't watch the whole thing because I couldn't make sense of what was happening. So hopefully they can figure that stuff out for the next episode.
They're such a small company, though. I think that's kind of the problem is they don't have like a marketing person or a creative person in the company outside of the few that work there to help them with that stuff. And I think that's why they've jumped on a lot of our streams in the past. Is it's just easy for them to come on our streams and get their information out.
And honestly, I think that's a wiser thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're a company. They should specialize in making toys and going down that route and leave some of the shows to other people. Like they can arrange to be guests and bring other guests with them, like the guy from Time, and let people that are used to hosting, doing interviews, running all the technology behind it, take care of that for them. Because that's a waste of their resources, quite frankly. I understand why they might want to do it, but maybe when they get into retail and have Best Buy relationships going, or some of these other ones,
Mm-hmm.
that where they can afford to hire somebody that's professional and knows how to put it together and can put it together a good show for them. I just think they'd be better off sticking away from that, because it does, the quality was not great, and it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, tarnishes their reputation, which is stellar. But when they
Yeah.
go on and our guests, it's the showrunner that can control that for them.
I mean, they really wanted to show off this time
Yeah.
arcade,
Yeah.
but because the production was so bad, I don't think people really got to understand what they were trying to do and how cool what they were trying to show
Yeah.
really was. And I think that kind of ruined the stream. Because really the only product updates they gave were, hey, Golden Tee and Crystal Castles will be released in first quarter for those
Mm-hmm.
of us who placed pre-orders, and they said, hey, we're still coming out with the BMX bikes, we're still coming out with the mini pinball machines, that kind of stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really there wasn't really like, it wasn't like a big news announcement stream.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shiloh really wanted to share that guy's arcade with us because it's a cool story behind it, but the
Yeah.
production was so bad it ruined it. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was going to try and get their website up, but I've got this wheel of names up for our giveaway, and it doesn't seem to want to cooperate. But yeah, so some of the things that I got from the stream, because I watched the whole thing, was the New Wave Toys, Golden Tee, the Crystal Castles are getting closer and farther along, but they're still going to be Q1 of next year. The mini pin. Did you guys get any word on the mini pin, the black hole? Because
He
I
just
don't.
said that I think from what I caught is he said something along the lines of they've had to change manufacturers of that pin several times because they're
Yeah.
trying to get someone to build it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And apparently they were still having problems. It's still going to come out, but
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't expect it first quarter.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then there's the Williams pinball that they have coming for the mini pin, but they didn't say anything about that. So that I could take from that stream.
I'm assuming that's on hold until they get Black Hole done.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even count on those Williams pins until third or fourth quarter next year.
And then there's the timeout. That's what they had focused on, was the timeout arcade,
Yep.
all the decorations for your diorama and your mini arcade to set it up and make it look better. And then the action figure, Ricky, is it called?
Yeah, he's the Ricky, the arcade attendant.
Yeah.
How did they get on the
Problem is
wheel for the giveaway?
They can't charge Hot Toys prices for a dude nobody's ever heard of. I'm just saying that's a bridge too far. I think $100.
Are you guys excited about this stuff? The timeout arcade stuff?
I've never heard of timeout myself.
No.
So, but if they did a Showbiz Pizza or a Fun Factory or something, I might be more interested. But even then, I'm probably.
I'll be honest. I love my Zoltar so much that I'm waiting for the next animatronic. Like,
Yeah.
I really want to
I
know
want
what the next.
Showbiz Pizza band, or even
People
a
are
Chuck E.
putting
Cheese would be-
Biggie D in the chat. We haven't done the giveaway yet, guys. We're going to do that last.
Yeah,
We're
let's do
very
that.
close. I'll let you guys know what the hashtag will be here in a moment. All right. And I'll put it in the chat so you guys can just copy and paste it if you
Just
want.
put it in now. That way they have time.
Okay.
To get
Yeah,
their entries
that's a
in.
good idea. And I'll start entering the names
welcome,
while we
everybody.
chat. So I'll put a
What's the
hashtag in
hashtag?
there. Just hashtag New Wave Toys. And you guys start putting those in. I'm going to start entering the names because we got 90 people watching. So
right,
I'll have a lot of names to enter.
Start getting them in there, guys. That way you could win. It's going to be your choice.
And yeah, this is what we're giving away. It's going to be a cigarette machine or an Artimat or a change machine. It's your choice. It'll be one of these three items
I'm
that you can
biased.
choose. And the winner will only have one winner tonight. And that winner can choose between these three. So I'll start
Very
entering
cool
these names.
giveaway.
What do you guys think of these products?
Well, I have the change machine, of course. I have the blue and the brown one. I like them. USB chargers are really cool. I don't have either the cool cigarette machine or the Artimat.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen mixed reviews on those now that people actually have them. Some people complaining about some of the quality and of them. So, but I don't actually have one to tell you. I think it's an amazing idea, but I can't tell you if it's actually good because I don't have one. So
Yeah, I
what
haven't
about you?
actually even seen any reviews. I
I
did
haven't.
see
I was looking
somebody.
for them today, and I
Well,
couldn't
there's
find much content.
on like their Facebook groups, there's
Yeah.
people, and maybe it's the what you call the vocal minority, right? People who have issues are usually the loudest, right? And what I've seen on like their groups are like, hey, there's all this junk behind the plastic, and you can't open it up to clean it. There's scratches on it. Like I've seen more complaints than I have seen people going, "This is awesome." But then again,
Yeah.
that's traditional in our whole arcade
Yeah.
community, right, guys?
It wouldn't be
We
home arcade without all the
it wouldn't
complaints.
be home arcade without all the complaints, right? Me personally, I am biased though. I really because I smoke, so the cool cigarettes machine would be the one I would pick if I won this contest.
When
But
I
yeah,
saw somebody did fully customize the cigarette one to be a candy machine,
oh
and I
yeah, yeah,
thought
yeah,
that was a great idea.
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That makes me leaning towards actually getting one and doing their custom because I
yeah,
liked that idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I won one on Friday night or Thursday night, I guess it was, during their live stream with the correct answer that they had for their giveaway. I chose the Artemat because I'm
Yeah, I've
not a
just
smoker. I
never
used to
seen an
be.
Artomat. It's got
I
to be a
just feel
California thing.
Yeah, I just feel like being a former smoker. If I had it in my house, it would just be like a,
Tempting.
temptation maybe to pick it back up. So I was like, I can't have that. But the Artemat's a great alternative because they really existed. I looked them up and they look exactly like what they were really existed in there. And I don't know where you'd see these, but
Yeah.
um,
Here we are. We're having a fun Christmas show. We're trying to keep this stream positive. We're trying to
mhm.
have a good time for the viewers. This audience has been through the rigmarole over the
Oh,
last
it's
week
been a crazy week.
with the community drama, and everyone's been well behaved. Everyone's been having a good show. Everyone's been enjoying this broadcast. And then we got this dickhead Papa Brad in the chat saying, "Oh, if it wasn't free, they don't review them." Papa Brad, if you cyberstalk my channel as much as you think you do, you'll know that when it comes to New Wave Toys products, even though they send me cabinets for review, I always end up buying the same cabinet. And then I take that review copy and I give it back to my viewers.
And
So for you to come in here with that false narrative is really pathetic. It's really fucking pathetic because let me tell you something, man. I've spent more money on arcade products than pretty much the bulk of this community. I
Oh
buy
yeah.
more than I get for free to review. You know what I'm saying? Everyone here is having fun, having a good broadcast, and you got to come in here with your stupid shit.
And so,
Sorry.
in the interest of transparency, I've never gotten a free thing from New Wave Toys, and I've done a few reviews on them because I buy them as well. Uh, in fact, well, I was to change the subject back to New Wave Toys, right? We know they've mentioned in the past looking for retail partners like Best Buy, and one of the toy stores near me, it's actually a fairly famous toy store. It's 1313 Mockingbird Lane out of Lawrence, Kansas. They've been on several TV shows and things like that. They got a used Coke machine in about 2 weeks ago from New Wave
Hmm.
Toys. And we know New Wave Toys works with like Sideshow Collectibles, which sells like hot toys and things like that.
Hmm.
But I don't know that they actually work with toy stores. Well, these guys got this in, and people went nuts on their Facebook page. Never seen it before. They were freaking out. Everybody wanted it. They thought how super cool it was. And that got me thinking, man, there are a lot of toy stores now across the country. It would be really cool to see uh, New Wave Toys, offer some sort of wholesale program for those small collector toy stores like that, because they would sell a ton of them. Like,
Hmm.
especially things like Zoltar and that Coke machine, the cigarette machines. You've got all these hot toy collectors and sideshow collectors that all go to these places that buy these really high-end expensive toys. They would love all this stuff that New Wave Toys produces. And sure, sideshow has them, but man, if people could see these things in person, they would just go crazy over them.
Saw Darren Kane. I think you misspelled. I don't have your name in here yet, so go ahead and put New Wave Toys in there if you want to enter. And I'm just double checking, make sure we don't have two of anyone. And we'll look at that together just, for transparency, make sure everybody can see all the names. All right. And on the subject of Papa Brad, he's a good friend of mine. And I know sometimes he'll say certain things. I don't let it bother me. It's like people are going to be how they want to be. And that's, I think, part of YouTube, and I don't take offense to anything that people say on YouTube too much.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, he's in the chat saying Merry Christmas, PDubs. That's all you had to say, man. We are 3 days away from Christmas, and you're in here stirring shit up, running your mouth, making shit up. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Exactly. That's all you had to say. Merry Christmas. Ridiculous.
All right. So I think I got most names. We're going to close the giveaway here in 2 minutes. So at 8:35 my time, which will be 10:35 Eastern, we're going to stop the giveaway, or at least entering into the giveaway. So if you guys want to get New Wave Toys, hashtag New Wave Toys in the chat, you got 1 more minute to do it. And with the delay on the stream, it's probably less than that now. And we're taking a look here at a video of the cigarette machine. You guys see the lighting on that?
Oh yeah.
The lighting's
that's
impressive.
Cool. It's got top lighting. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever saw that in the mock-ups. That's pretty cool.
So if you guys decide to get the change machine, I don't think it has the lighting effect. So the Artimat and the cigarette machine will give you that.
Yeah, I think you got a red LED. That's pretty much it on the change machine, or what? Or
looks like
red or yellow, depending on.
AtGames just entered. About to end the giveaway, guys. So if it comes in after 8:35, it won't count.
Whose video is this, Biggie? Of the?
I got this off of Facebook, off the New Wave Toys Facebook group. I couldn't really find any videos on YouTube of it. And I probably should give the guy credit too, who posted this. I'll put that in the description after I finish the stream. So if you guys want to go check out the Facebook group and who made this video, you'll have that information.
They just have that really nice Street Fighter 2 there.
Oh, I know. That was a great one. And they'll probably never do that one again. All right, so it's 8:35. So that's it, guys. No more entries, unfortunately, if you guys are just joining. So let's take a look here at the names. And let's make sure that there aren't any doubles. So you guys help me with that, okay? We've got Ted Adam Green, Nate UT, JJ, Mike Hawkertz, Port of Dream, Sir Sega, Thor KC, Empire Arcade, Atrium Fanatic, Console Kits, Israel Gaming, Pete G, Marine 50, Brent Metz, Ralphie Duran, Jim the Pacers fan, Way Too Fast for Ya, Mickey Yoon, Sonny Richards, Papa Brad's Gaming, MSU Rich, G-Force Guy, B Kirby, the Chicago Arcade Guy, Joseph Todd, Brooklyn Menace, Ojib, Owa, Big B 73, Steve Sell, Show Gecko, Canadian 777, Derek, Alfred Bergers, Rockin' Wrestling, Virtual Robots Revolt, Sammy, Giovanni Sean, and JT Games. If anyone is missing that you put in the hashtag New Wave Toys, let me know before we spin and I'll get you in there. Maybe I've missed your name, but I think I got everybody, so we shouldn't have that happen.
Did you get 720 Eric? I know I thought I just saw him drop in there.
Let's see, 720 Eric. I think that came in after. Unfortunately, 720 Eric, your New Wave Toys came in at 8:36:06, so you missed it by like 6 seconds. Unfortunately, I apologize, but I gotta stick to the rule.
Got to cut it off somewhere.
Yeah. All right, so I think we got everyone. We'll give it a few more minutes. Someone, if you think I've missed you, let me know. Unfortunately, 720 Eric, I did see your message here, but it came in, as far as my timestamp, too late. And I have to go by Restream and what the timestamp is on here, just to keep it fair. All right, and then if you guys win, whatever name is chosen, I am going to put a link in the chat and I'll later put it in the description of this live stream where you can go to email me. And it's basically my website, athomearcades.com, and it's my contact form. And you're just going to give me your name, your email. For the subject, just put in New Wave Toys giveaway. And then for the message, you're going to have to give me your name, your address, the shipping address that you would like it sent to, and your YouTube handle. So I know it's you're the winner. And
you don't plan on changing registrars between the end of the show and when somebody emails you, do you?
And YouTube handle. So name, address, YouTube handle, and of course you'll give me your email as well, because in order to fill out the contact form, it'll ask for the email. But just make sure in the description that you're giving me your name, which is your real name, your street address where I'm shipping this to, and your YouTube handle. And also what's even more important than that is which item you want. You have the choice of the cigarette machine, the Artomat, or the change machine. They're all the same price on New Wave Toys right now. So it doesn't matter to me which one you choose. Just pick which one you want. And this is actually coming out of my pocket. I'm paying for it. Shipping and all that. Just to kind of give back to the community. This is Christmas. And I just wanted to do something fun tonight. Also wanted to support New Wave Toys because they're one of my favorite companies in this home arcade space. And I just like to support them. They're a small company, and every sell, I think, and every product they sell to me, I think helps them. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah, man. Let's see who won.
Okay. So this is going to just be a spin, random, and we'll get one winner. And Jason says mother's maiden name. We won't need that. We won't need a bank account number either, or sex orientation either. All right. Let's go. Good luck, guys. Merry Christmas. Yeah, this is not funded by GoFundMe.
Oh
no.
JJ, it looks like. Yep.
Oh, man, Nate UT got robbed. Did you see that?
It was so close.
It was right there on the line, and I was like, "Oh, Nate won." We all know Nate, right? Nate's been in our chats for years, right? And then boom, right at the last fraction of a second.
Yeah, so our winner is JJ. Congratulations, JJ. He's a longtime viewer. He's one of those guys that just watches my stream all the time. It's like he's a regular viewer. So it's always good to see someone that is a regular viewer win. Congrats, man.
Nate got robbed.
I think JJ has. He's from Texas, if I remember as well. I'm wearing the Texas jersey tonight.
It reminds me of all those Arcade Redemption spinner machines where it's just like, oh, they're so close to winning the jackpot.
That was like a photo finish. Like a photo finish in a foot race. Like,
yeah.
If we could only zoom in and see if that actually crossed the line or not.
So here's JJ here. He said other arcade content YouTubers probably should be excluded from the drawing.
You won. What are you complaining about?
That was before the spin.
Bad timing. That's so funny. He's like, people should be excluded.
Look at that. Look at what Jason Little Alien's doing in the chat, Biggie.
What did he say?
Oh, here we go. $50.
That is why he is the best moderator in the business.
Okay, so Jason, he's sponsoring a $50 Amazon gift card to Nate UT as a runner-up. Okay, so that's great. So Nate UT, just do the same process. Go to the contact form. I'll put that in the chat again. Give me your name. And Jason, how do you want to send that? Do you want to send that electronically, or do you want to mail that out? Let me know.
So if Biggie is Santa tonight, does that make Jason Mrs. Claus?
I guess so.
Or an elf, I guess. We could go with an elf.
Yeah, so our second place runner-up, will be Nate UT with the $50 gift card. I'll put that in the chat. And just send me the same information just in case we need it. Send me your name, your street address, shipping address, as well as your YouTube handle, and go to that link I put in the chat, the athomearcades.com. And congratulations, JJ. I'm surprised I can't get my website up. I'd like to get that up so we could. So maybe I can hear that now that we have a winner. I don't really need this wheel up here anymore. Yeah, perfect. Cool. So you guys can see it. So I put all my content on this website. I actually pay quite a bit for it each year just to give it another place.
Have you
to
thought
be
about
held.
switching from GoDaddy to Starfish or whatever?
But yeah, so I put all my videos on here. So I got my YouTube videos.
How's the DNS looking on your website, Biggie? Do subscribers need to be worried?
I've not had much downtime, so I may be doing a little better than AtGames. And then I've got my shorts, so I'll put those on there, and live streams. I'll post that right after we end, so you'll see that here.
Biggie, you should apply to be their network admin or their DNS admin. Quote your 99.99% uptime of BiggieD.com.
Biggie D should be hired as their website manager. Yeah, let's make that let's make that happen.
And then I've got gear, even though I've not sold much. Actually, I think Papa Brad's the only person that's bought any shirts or hats off this site. But it is there if you guys want to get it and you like the logo. And contact form, this is where you'll be filling that out. Nate UT and JJ. You'll just put your full real name, your email address. Oops, there's mine. No big deal.
I can't.
It's a Gmail, so it's not a big deal. Subject, and then description, your message. You're going to put your name, your address, and then more importantly, what you want. You know, what is it that you want to pick from these 3 items?
Yeah.
All right. But that was a lot of fun.
PG's earned the right to say that. Between him and Tomato Grass, they own like the top spot on every table on that 4KB.
So yeah, I'll get that email and I'll get that out to you. Normally, you know, these past ones, I'll have that in my inbox right after I end the stream, and I'll get on that tomorrow and send that out to you. I'll order the New Wave toys directly from their website and have them ship it to you. That way, I'll just send you the tracking number and the order number and all that. And then I'll work with Jason. I know I'm friends with him on social media. He can tell me how we're going to get Nate UT his gift card. That's awesome of you, Jason, to help support the channel and the viewers out there watching and giving us another prize. Do you guys have anything coming up on your channels? Anything you're going to try to fit in before Christmas? I know Mondays is Multicade Mondays. Are we going to get that tomorrow?
I don't think I'm doing Multicade Mondays tomorrow. Mike, I know is doing a big community show tomorrow, so he's gonna have a lot of people on. Me, I'm trying to get. I got a couple product reviews I want to get done. So I might just focus on getting a product review posted tomorrow. But then after that, I think I might be off for the rest of the year because it's the holidays, man. So
take the time off, enjoy your video games and family.
Yeah, we got plans and stuff. I did want to play Peanuts Christmas and the Grinch. I did want to do those pinball games. I was kind of thinking of doing it as a stream, but I'm running out of time because you got to be with family, right? So
I hope you open your MetaQuest 3.
Yeah, I do need to. I do need to open the MetaQuest 3. So
and I'd love to see you how much you like it and see a video on it.
I really like the MetaQuest 2. It's just I got caught up in other things and it just sat there,
Yeah.
So
and I'll have to go check out your new video that just dropped today about the Sega handheld.
Oh, the MD200. Yeah, yeah, you can watch. It's a weird product. I mean, they got a whole bunch of. They sent me a few products to review. That's just the first one, but I gave it a 6 out of 10. There's your spoiler, but it's okay for what it is. So, yeah.
Cool. And James, you got anything coming up or anything you want to share?
Yeah. So I get, as I mentioned, I'm working on that tutorial and review for the VR for X Arcade thing. So I got that coming up. I plan to do a CES preview kind of deal of what what I'm really looking forward to out there, which is partially home arcade and video gaming, and then a lot of AI stuff. Obviously, I'm really interested in that. And then I may do a Yule log stream on Christmas Day at some point that features my new album, and it's all home arcade Christmas music. So, if you guys are bored and need some Christmas music, just turn that on. It'll just be going. And I don't know that I'll be sitting in there hosting it or anything, but
Are you on
should
Mike
be
B's
interesting.
stream tomorrow?
Yes. I will be
Okay.
on that
All
tomorrow.
right, cool. So we'll look forward to seeing you on there. That'll be fun.
Yep.
And then I'm going to use this time off to hopefully get my Zoltar review finally done. With my job loss that I went through and getting injured, it really delayed that. But since I had won their giveaway this week, I promised them I'm going to try and get that done by the 1st of January. So I'm going to use my break for Christmas and my break for New Year's to get that done. And try to do the best I can. You guys did Zoltar reviews, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
Yes, I did. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be my favorite New Wave Toys product. That and their Cubert. Their Cubert was awesome.
Yeah, I like New Coke and then Zoltar. Those are my two favorite. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to kind of close out the stream, what would you guys say was the home arcade product of the year this year?
The home arcade product of the year. Well, here's the funny thing is not much actually physically got released, or stuff that has come out is just coming out. Like, for instance, Polycade Sente is still filling their orders, which I don't even know if you classify that as home arcade.
I would.
The Unico Nova Blast, people are just receiving them. Some people have been waiting over a year to get them, right? Like, really, the only product that has been around since January, February has been the Legends Pinball 4K. But what a roller coaster, right? Like, think about it. People, it's always like, what have you done for me lately, right? The last 3 months, things have been better. But you can't tell me the first 9 months of the year, every owner was super happy and the Legends Pinball 4K was going to be product of the year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was pissed off, with the input delays, the latency, the flipper lag.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the input delay and the flipper
I
lag.
mean, it's amazing how 9 months later, problems are finally resolved. And then the last 3 months, that's what people remember, right? Can you say it's product of the year? I think you might be able to, because they've had a heck of a recovery the last 3 months, and due to lack of options, nothing's come out.
Yeah, there's nothing from Arcade.
Arcade 1-Up did what? A shitty claw machine?
Yeah.
Like, nothing else has come out. It's easy to win when the
there's no competition.
when the selections are so small.
I mean, you got the Golden T Midway in there. Like, there's nothing. Like the X-Men 97.
But
I love the Zoltar,
rehashes, nothing
but it's
exciting.
But
the Zoltar, I don't know if it can compete with the bigger stuff.
It's the 4KP.
Biggie and I went to Costco together, and we looked at that Midway cab, and whatchamacallit, I wasn't impressed enough to buy it.
Nope.
What about you, man? Biggie?
Oh, for me, I was not impressed.
Yeah.
I thought Sinistar was kind of cool on there, but the controls were lacking. Wasn't enough room on the game deck to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of put together last minute, and they kind of threw it together to get it in stores. And I didn't like the logos on it. For me, I don't think I bought anything that released this year from Arcade 1-Up. I bought the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but that came out the year before. So there wasn't anything I bought from them that released this year.
Let's face it, Arcade 1-Up directly ripped off that Chicago arcade company, right?
Yeah.
Like, even the name, like theirs is Arcade Classics on it or something, and the other one's Arcade Legends. Like, the logo looked the same, the artwork looked the same.
All's fair in love, trademark, and copyrights.
Yep.
So
now you, James, bought the Golden Tee Deluxe this year, right?
I did, because I did not have Golden Tee, and obviously I had that opportunity to get it like right out of the gate, so I picked it up. I do play that one frequently. I wish it was Golden T4 and not these older ones, but it's the only one you can buy for under $500,000, so that's the one I have. So.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what happens. January, what is it? 3rd is when CES starts.
Yeah,
Yeah, 5th is the 5th and 6th are media day, and then the 7th through the 10th is the main show. So
Okay.
The thing is next year will be the better year for having this conversation.
yeah,
Hmm.
Because on paper, and keep in mind, guys, this is on paper. But then again, on paper last year or this year, we thought we would have all this stuff to talk about.
Hmm.
But next year, you got Glenn's Multicade, the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K. Arcade One Up will probably do Arcade One Up things.
Hmm.
And
Like we were
then
discussing tonight,
um,
my arcade, they may come out with those
yeah,
I
finally.
think the Nova Blast, because it technically many people are still waiting for them, you kind of would fit that into the conversation next year because people will actually receive them
Hmm.
and spend time with them, and you'll probably see people like, "Hey, I added this. Hey, I added this. Hey, I added this. You could play this. You could do this," which
Hmm.
is what happens with multicades, right?
Did,
It's like an
didn't you
endless
pre-order
flow.
one, Dubs? You
Yeah, but I don't have mine yet either,
yeah,
right? So, I think next year on paper would be a better year to have this discussion. But this
Yeah.
year, only what? Like, if you call them arcade, only let 3 or 4 products came out? Like,
It was
it's
like a
tough.
transition year from
It's
arcade
tough.
one up to media one up. It seems like
Yeah.
that's what it
Oh,
was.
and
And
yeah, and John's Arcade next year,
mhm.
Media One Up's arcades. It'll be interesting. Supposedly Tiny Arcade is gonna do Centipede,
And what
right?
about just for fun? Wasn't there some buzz around that?
yeah,
Um,
basic fun.
Basic
It
fun.
was shopping that Centipede
oh, wait, I
prototype
said Tiny
allegedly.
Arcade. Yeah, Basic
Yeah,
Fun. But isn't
yeah.
Basic Fun the Tiny Arcades? No, they're not. Basic Fun
No,
is the yeah,
yeah, they
Tiny
make Care
Arcades is
Bears
different.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
This would be their
Basic
first
Fun.
real.
Yeah, and what
Basic
is
Fun Centipede.
No,
Evercade
I
gonna
think you're
do
right.
to?
I think they do make Tiny Arcade. The
Um,
brand Tiny Arcade is them,
and
if
then
I remember right.
you also have Evercade will do another batch of alphas, probably
Yeah.
SNK
Yeah,
themed.
the
Then you
AES or SNK thing they got coming out, whatever that is.
My Arcade might make some larger bar tops, you
Hmm.
know, which would be interesting. Like next year, I think will be a better year on paper. Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of word that prices are either going to go down or go up next year. What do you think about that? Do you see prices increasing or decreasing?
I think prices are going up.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
think prices never ever go down, right? They
Yeah.
tend to always move one
Somebody
direction.
somebody told me they thought the Legends Pinball 4K was going to be $900. Who was that?
Well, I was hoping it would be 9.99
Yeah.
because I think inflation is just at the highest it's ever been right now. And as inflation eases and gets better early next year, which it should, prices in general are
I'm
going
just
to come
messing with
down.
you. I'm
Yeah,
That
just
so
messing
includes
with
for
all the
prices
stuff we
to go
buy in home
down, you would
arcade.
need deflation, and the Federal Reserve will never allow deflation to happen. So the
you.
best you can
Trust
hope
me.
of is that they stabilize and people's pay rates climb,
I would
stay
love to
go.
see brand new cars at 25,000, home
Yeah.
arcades at $500. I would love to see all that stuff, Biggie, but it's just not happening, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
happening.
most companies are already injecting price increases. So I'm
Yeah.
seeing it across the board on computers and things like that already. These companies are
Yeah.
announcing price hikes in order to take advantage of the so-called tariffs that
Let's
probably will never happen.
it's
You
gonna
know,
be it's gonna be next year more than ever, it's gonna be called pay to play. If you want to be
yeah,
in this hobby, you're gonna have to pay to play.
Save your money because you're
And
going to
people
need
are
it.
gonna get people are gonna get priced out, you know? I mean, this we've lost great members of this community. I've
Hmm.
seen comments on my videos from people who are, "Hey, man, I haven't watched one of your videos in 2 years because I haven't been able to afford any of these products. I was just checking in. This one looks pretty cool, blah, blah, blah."
Hmm.
It's amazing how many people have left the hobby because the hobby's just not what it was back in 2020. So,
Yeah.
pay to play, guys. Keep that in mind. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll look to
I'm
these
enjoying
companies
what I
to
have.
shift. Yeah, they have to shift production to like Indonesia, Vietnam, places like that in order to keep costs
Hmm.
down. And that's expensive to
yep.
change too. So
Yeah. See, I've collected a bunch of stuff over the years and I'm just enjoying what I got, and
Yeah.
sharing what I got. I noticed Phil's doing that. He's just, so he doesn't have any new ones to buy. So he's just sharing his older ones. And I think that's what we can enjoy while we save up for the new stuff.
yeah, I mean, hopefully next year for home arcade is better, but Switch 2 I think is going to be the theme of next year.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately.
that too. I mean, you got that coming. Well, you guys,
Pull up Brooklyn's comment.
what was that?
We said good
I
things.
lost two
Thanks
subs.
for all your promotion of channel earlier tonight.
That's on
I
you,
lost
bro.
2 subs.
That's on you, bro. That wasn't us. We didn't say anything bad. Brooklyn has a great channel, and behind the scenes, Brooklyn is just a super nice guy to talk
Yeah,
to.
he's awesome.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's
a,
been
he's a,
one of my closest friends in home
he's a good
arcade.
egg. He's a good egg.
Mhm.
And when I met him in person at one of the Chicago Game and Brews for iArcade, I thought he was like maybe 30 years old because he looks young.
Yeah.
But the guy is like 87. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but Brooklyn Menace, we should call him Grandpa Menace. Brooklyn is not a young dude by any means, but he ages gracefully. Gracefully. So there you go.
Well, all right, guys. Well, you guys have a great Christmas. Everyone who watched tonight, have a fantastic Christmas, and great New Year's. I'll be back next Sunday for another live stream, so we'll see you before the end of the year. But we'll probably try and get some new guests on for next week. I've been enjoying having guests on each week. I used to do a solo show, but I think it's fun to just bring people in and have discussions and get more people involved. So I'll probably continue doing that each week. That's kind of been my thing since I got back from my break of YouTube, is having more guests. So make sure to stay tuned in, guys. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.